preparing for Election Day. We have info on polling places on campus and where to go for a watch party.
And the trial for the Mexican drug kingpin El Chapo begins today in Brooklyn. How the feds beefed up to security to prevent another infamous escape? We have the details.
Plus, 12 more dead over the weekend as flooding in Italy hits an all-time high. Find out what Italy's prime minister is doing to help the victims of the disaster. Citrus TV News live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon. We're one day away from the midterm elections, Elijah, and polling stations across the country have begun preparation for tomorrow's final day of voting.
That's right, and that's where we'll start tonight. Welcome, I'm Elijah Shama. Syracuse University is also getting ready for the elections, but those preparations aren't limited to just voting stations.
Yeah, that's right. The school's sponsoring a panel to educate students on policy and hot-button issues in this year's election. We have CitrusTV reporter Amber McElrath live at the Schine Student Center covering this evening's discussion. So Amber, what information should students know about this evening's event?
Thanks, guys. I'm live inside of Schine Student Center where a racial and ethnic disparities panel is currently taking place. The panel started at 5 p.m. and will continue until 7. The panel is supposed to be interactive, so at the beginning, students and community members in attendance were able to interact with these problems, following into a Q&A with members from the panel. The goal is to discuss racial and ethnic barriers across New York communities, specifically focusing on areas of housing, access to education, and voting. With the elections coming up tomorrow, the committee members in charge of planning the panel thought that all who are in attendance should be educated about these issues and should have a say in the problems they're discussing.
Even though particular groups are being affected right now, we live in such an interconnected community that we're all going to feel the impacts of these policy decisions moving forward. And that's why we're trying to attract so many different voices and why we're encouraging everybody to come out. You know, everybody's voice matters. Everybody's voice needs to be heard.
These panels are taking place all throughout Central New York, not just Syracuse University. The panel was sponsored by Syracuse University's chapter of NYPIRG and AARP. Live from Schine Student Center, I'm Amber McElrath, Citrus TV News. Back to you in the studio.
Amber, thank you. There are a number of important races in the state level and right here in Central New York. Syracuse University, though, has set up polling stations on campus for anyone who would like to vote. Citrus TV correspondent Michael Furnari is here to tell you where you can go and cast your ballot.
Election Day is tomorrow, November 6th, and Syracuse University is encouraging student participation with a number of polling places located right here on campus. Residents of New York State can cast their ballots on or near campus at the Toomey Abbott Apartments, Huntington Hall, the Spiritual Renewal Center, and the Drumlins Country Club. The university is also hosting a watch party at Schine Student Center. Taking a look off campus for a moment, House candidates Dana Bolter and John Katko are holding respective election night events at the downtown Marriott and Sheraton hotels. Despite massive Democrat gains in registered voters, John Katko still leads challenger Dana Bolter by 14 points, according to Syracuse.com. The two have squared off in a very competitive campaign, largely concerned with the Republican tax plan, health care policy, and President Trump. The race has proven very expensive to the tune of almost $14 million. Despite the big spending totals, polling numbers have been relatively stagnant, and neither campaign has made any progress in the polls since August. The race has been particularly tough on Dana Bolter, who started out with little name recognition, but has only seen her favorability number drop as the campaign has heated up. Even if Bolter-Katko doesn't come down to the wire, a number of close races in Central New York should keep ballot counters up very late into the evening.
So, Michael, take me through it. Where has the money gone and how effective has it been? How much money are we talking about here?
So almost $8 million have been spent, and most of that money has been really dumped into TV and online ads by both the campaigns and by outside groups. And that's an interesting trend because both of these candidates have really campaigned against getting that money, have campaigned for getting that money out of politics.
Interesting stuff. Thanks, Michael. The Syracuse women's basketball season starts tomorrow, and the Orange is taking on North Dakota tomorrow at 3 in the Carrier Dome. SU students can also attend the game for free. Just show up with your SU ID card at gates A, B, or C, and you'll receive a free ticket. You can thank faculty and staff for the freebie. The promotion is in honor of Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day. And free flu shots are also being offered to SU faculty and staff this Thursday. The shots are taking place in Newhouse 1 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. No appointments are necessary. Just bring a valid SU ID to take the vaccine. And temporary employees can also bring an alternate ID. The SU Health Plan plans to cover the vaccines for faculty and staff as well as other healthcare options.
University College kicks off November with National Distance Learners and Non-Traditional Students Week. The celebration aims to raise awareness and support for online education everywhere. They plan to start a 4-session online learning community through Blackboard Collaborate. If you're a part-time student, you can stop by the University College to pick up a complimentary gift. And Syracuse University celebrates Veterans Month as a part of the recent nationwide effort to appreciate and honor military service members. On Wednesday, SU's Veterans fundraiser Purchase with a Purpose begins with other events continuing until Wednesday's. SU's recently made it a priority to present itself as a school that supports military members, and those efforts have earned recognition from the Military Times. In the publication's latest annual rankings, Cuse slots in as the #1 private school for veterans in the United States.
Now, Chris, I don't know about you, but this rain really rained on my pre-election day parade.
Well, I personally like a nice rainy day every once in a while. Get cozy, read a book. Riley Burg is here with our first look at weather. Riley, are there going to be any more nice rainy, cozy days that we can look forward to?
Well, you can definitely see them tonight as we take a look outside right now. It is 48 degrees and it is just rain, and we can't seem to escape it here in Syracuse. And moving into tonight, it's going to be about 43 degrees outside, partly cloudy, some light winds, but you know, it's cold here, but we're used to that. And as we move into Election Day tomorrow, Mother Nature is sending us some more wild weather, maybe some more rains, as Chris was talking about. Stay tuned and I'll tell you what to wear and how to prepare. For now, Chris and Elijah, back to you.
The number of registered voters in Onondaga County has hit an all-time high. Right now, more than 250,000 people are registered to vote in tomorrow's election. That's up nearly 6% from the 2016 presidential election.
These trends align with the national uptick in voters we've seen this election cycle. Based on early voter numbers, 22 states have already outpaced vote counts from the 2014 midterms. Onondaga County has the more voters in the 24th Congressional District, where Democrat Dana Balter challenges incumbent Republican John Katko. Moving on, if you're a parent with a little tyke running around, you might be interested in some of the new initiatives Syracuse plans to use to help your child read better in school. Onondaga County has been selected as one of 3 communities to join the Pritzker Fellows Program. The group provides funds to improve literacy rates for kids across the United States. Syracuse City has been fighting this battle for the better part of a decade. In 2016, nearly 70% of students enrolled in Syracuse City schools were considered to be reading at a below-average level. The Pritzker grant will primarily fund daycare and early development providers. A North Syracuse man is facing charges for pulling a gun on Syracuse police. Authorities were called to Watson Road on reports of a domestic dispute. That's where they saw Hugh O'Donnell with a starter pistol. Police say that O'Donnell wanted the police to shoot him even though he was holding the gun. He faces charges of 3 misdemeanors and a felony and is currently in holding at the Onondaga County Justice Center.
And new updates on the case of a Camillus driver who killed 3 young people near OCC. Anthony Saccone is trying to withdraw the guilty plea. Saccone already tried to withdraw the plea once, but the county court denied him. He will appear in court Wednesday morning for his sentencing. The judge sentenced Saccone to 10 to 30 years in prison in July. Families of the victims are expected to attend the trial. And in New York City, El Chapo began his trial today in Brooklyn. The Mexican drug lord is suspected to have been the cause of dozens of murders, as well as smuggling over 200 tons of cocaine into the United States. The Brooklyn Bridge shut down to allow a police motorcade, a SWAT team, and an ambulance to transport Chapo to the pretrial hearings. Federal agents will guard the Brooklyn courthouse for the trial, which could last as long as 4 months. 3 women in New York are also awaiting charges after allegedly attempting to hang a banner on the Manhattan Bridge earlier this morning. The banner is only revealed one word: vote, before being stopped by police.
An activist group called the Flo Kennedy Society took credit for the incident. The 3 arrested women are in custody at New York's 5th Precinct. Donald Trump will make an appearance for U.S. Representative Claudia Tenney this evening. Tenney is the Republican incumbent for the 22nd Congressional District in New York.
Tenney's rally is at the Beaches Inn Conference Center restaurant in Rome. Trump Jr. is the 4th in his family to visit central and southern New York during the campaign season. Tenney is locked in a close race with Democratic candidate Anthony Brindisi.
Coming up after the break, a big announcement from President Donald Trump on the vacant position he plans to fill in the State Department. Find out when we can expect to hear his decision.
Plus, the U.S. imposes fresh sanctions on Iran's oil and gas exports, but Iran's president is refusing to follow them. Find out why he refuses to acknowledge them and why Trump is imposing them.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. It's going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. President Trump says that he'll announce a new candidate for the UN ambassador at the end of this week. The president previously said the State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert was his favorite choice for the spot.
Last month, Ambassador Nikki Haley said she will leave her post at the end of the year before joining the State Department. Nauert was a Fox News anchor. Trump has spoken highly of her in the past, but nothing is official until his confirmation. An advocacy group, Vote for Our Lives, held an event Monday morning at the Florida State Capitol. A press release says that the group is still encouraging younger voters to register 9 months after the Parkland shooting.
Right, the group is concerned with gun control in the United States. A few of the speakers at the event were survivors of February's school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Last night, R&B pop singer Rihanna took to Twitter to send a message to President Trump. She says she wants him to stop playing her music at his rallies. Trump recently used her hit song, Don't Stop the Music, at a campaign event in Chattanooga.
Now, she's not the only singer asking Trump to refrain from using their music. Last week, Pharrell Williams issued a cease and desist letter after Trump played his song, Happy. The first of the Central Americans in the migrant caravan have reached Mexico City. Hundreds arrived earlier today in the Mexican capital, and authorities are expecting thousands more to follow.
Despite the city's current water shortage, volunteers are handing out rations and water to the migrants. The caravan is en route to the southern border of the United States, where President Trump has deployed troops to prevent the caravan from entering the U.S. illegally. The U.S. is reimposing sanctions against Iran that were previously lifted in 2015. The sanctions target Iran's oil and gas sections and the shipping industry, in addition to its banks. Donald Trump says he wants to renegotiate with Iran over terms of its nuclear program.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says that the goal is to bring Iran's oil exports to zero. Protesters gathered outside the former U.S. Embassy in Tehran, chanting "Down with the USA." However, the president of Iran says that the country will not abide by the sanctions.
We will break the sanctions with honor, because sanctions are cruel, are against the international law, are against agreements, are against UN resolutions. So we are going to break such sanctions with honor, and everybody should do so.
Heavy flooding in southern Italy continues to devastate the area. Sicily is now under red alert due to the storms and wind. 70% of the city of Venice is also submerged in water.
Officials say another 12 people died over the weekend, bumping the death toll to 29. Officials say the floods are the highest ever recorded in Italy. The country's prime minister vows to take actions to help the survivors.
It's an enormous tragedy, being in your house and from one moment to the next, being submerged by the water. Next week, we will call a cabinet meeting to declare the state of emergency for the regions affected by the extreme weather. The government has already allocated to the Environment Ministry €1 billion for interventions on the hydrogeological safety.
And coming up in 90 seconds, FedEx is bringing up the rates for packing and shipping for next year. Find out how much more you'll be paying and where the money is going.
And Riley Burg has your full weather forecast for Election Day. Find out if you'll need a raincoat to wear to the polls and what you'll need to wear for the rest of the week. We'll be right back.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And welcome back to Citrus TV News. As you can see across upstate New York tomorrow, it is going to be a little bit warmer. We're looking at high 50s to low 60s across upstate New York. In Syracuse, we're looking at a high of 61. And as we saw last week, those warmer temperatures don't necessarily mean that the sun is coming out. As for tomorrow, what to expect for Election Day? We're looking at heavy winds and heavy rains, up to 52 miles per hour. And we're going to see those heavy rains mostly in the morning, some in the afternoon, but it's going to be mostly cloudy as we head into the evening. Now, interestingly enough, Syracuse.com came out with an article describing how big of an influence the weather has on voters showing up to vote on Election Day. It's actually pretty significant. As you take a look to my right, the research shows that if it rains an inch above what is normally expected, voter turnout will decrease by 1%, and overall weather accounts for 20% of voter change across all election days. So these rains and heavy winds that we're expecting tomorrow could have a major influence on voter turnout and ultimately on the outcome of the election. So to help you plan around that bad weather, let's take a look to my right and look at tomorrow's weather planner. 9 a.m. to noon, about 50 degrees, but that's when we're going to see our heaviest rains and our heaviest winds. It's going to be about 30 miles per hour for wind, but then that's going to die down as we head into noon. Noon to 4 p.m., we're going to see those rains and those winds stop, so that's going to be your best time to head to the polls. After about 4 p.m., those winds and those rains are going to start to pick up again, and then they're going to stay through the evenings. So try to stay away from the polls then. If you're looking about what the winds are going to stay, if the rain is going to stay moving into the week, I'll have more coming up later.
Thanks, Riley. Shipping and packing costs may weigh a little bit more on your wallet next year. FedEx is raising prices by 4.9%. The reason for the hike are higher fuel prices and a shortage in truck drivers. Online shopping has also increased the number of packages that are being shipped across the country.
Coming up in sports, Syracuse football just keeps on winning. The Orange haven't lost in 4 weeks and did something they haven't done in 2 years. Plus, basketball returns to the Hill in a big way tomorrow. All that coming up right after this.
Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, bro. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors.
Come on, that's it. Let's go.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back. This season has broken all types of Syracuse football norms, at least recent norms, that is. Against North Carolina, the Orange won their first game after the bye under Dino Babers. A week later, they became bowl eligible for the first time in 5 years. The next task, breaking an 8-game road losing streak in ACC play. To Winston-Salem we go, a beautiful day for football. You might remember that monsoon a couple of years ago, much better today. Early on, the Deacs making the home crowd happy. Cade Carney with the 2-yard touchdown run. That put them up 7-0. They'd go up 10-0. Here's SU's response. Mo Neal 8 yards out, puts Syracuse within 3 in the first quarter. Then later in the first quarter, Jarvion Howard a 1-yard touchdown run. That puts SU up top for the first time in this game, 14-10. Halftime score 21-10. Syracuse had the lead. Coming back in the third quarter, though, Wake Forest not going away. Sam Hartman with a strike to Scotty Washington, 20-yard touchdown. SU up by just 11 now. But here's the play that Eric Dungy made that slams the door on Wake Forest, a 26-yard touchdown run, 35-17 SU that point in the third quarter. Final score 41-24. So Syracuse indeed does get that road conference win, their first in 8 tries. Dungy wasn't his normal self through the air, but Dino Babers still liked what he saw.
I'm tickled pink about the way he's playing. There were some opportunities. He had some opportunities in the games where he could have took some risks. He could have rolled the dice. But based off of how our defense was playing and how the game was going along, he did the smart thing. He made the safe bet, and he won the game.
It's time for basketball in the Carrier Dome. No more exhibitions. These games count for real. The SU men's team opens its regular season on Tuesday night against Eastern Washington. Still no word on the status of SU's 3 injured point guards. They played both exhibitions without Frank Howard, Jalen Carey, and Howard Washington. All 3 are close to returning but have not been cleared to play. Expect Tyus Battle to start at point guard if none of them are available. Before that game tips off, the women's team hits the court. The Orange battle the North Dakota Fighting Hawks at 3 p.m. Plenty of hype surrounding the team this year. Syracuse is 18th in the AP preseason poll and picked to finish 3rd in the ACC. All 5 starters are back from last year's 22-win team. On top of that, the Orange has a top 10 recruiting class coming to join them. Leading the way as 5-star forward Emily Inksler. The New York native makes her Orange debut tomorrow. But if you want to see her play, you might have to wait a minute.
The good thing about Emily is that Emily can play 3 positions for us, possibly 5. All 5 or 4. So, you know, is she better starting or coming off the bench? I don't know yet. You know, I think sometimes too, coming off the bench gives you a chance to watch the game and see the flow and come in and play. But I can tell you that she has a chance for us to play major minutes for us this year, and looking forward to her being an instant impact player and immediate contributor.
In the pros, the Knicks look for a bounce-back win tonight against the Bulls. So far this year, New York is 3-7. The Knicks return to the Garden after a double-digit loss in Washington yesterday. Tim Hardaway Jr. has cooled off quite a bit since his hot start. He's averaging 13 points in November after putting up nearly 30 a game in October. Knicks and Bulls tip off at 7:30. On the ice, the Islanders are red hot. New York goes for 6 straight wins tonight at the Barclays Center against Montreal. Thomas Greiss has been unreal in net for the Isles. He stopped 97% of the shots he's faced in his last 3 starts. But it's not just the goaltending that's on fire. The first-place Islanders are averaging 4 goals a game during their win streak. They are firing on all cylinders early on in this season.
Jonathan, the meteoric rise of this football program for Syracuse has been exactly what Dino Babers predicted back when he took the job on his first day. What's impressed you the most?
I just think it's taken a while, but he's sticked with the program. He's told us, wait. This year he said he's changed some things. We are starting to see what they've changed. This is not the same football team we've seen in the past 2 years. They're winning after the bye. They've got 7 wins. It's a complete turnaround from last year.
All right. It's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
And taking a look at our 5-day forecast, we can see the sun come out Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, looking at some more rain for Cuse as they take on Louisville. And Saturday, we're going to see some snow. It's just some light flurries under an inch. Nothing you have to worry about. And wondering what you're going to wear? Well, this is Maddie Urabe, one of our own. She is all bundled up in her raincoat and a scarf. You're going to want to wear that tomorrow. Definitely bring an umbrella with you. But my recommendation for the week, just wear lots and lots of layers.
All right, Matt, we love you. Here, before we wrap up the show, we have a little food for thought, Elijah. If you turned 106 today, where would you celebrate your birthday dinner? Well, one centenarian in Arizona wanted to go to her favorite restaurant. Yeah, that's right, Taco Bell. Kind of a strange choice, right? Well, the Taco Bell was more than happy to oblige.
That's right. The popular fast food chain decorated and reserved space to celebrate Murda's Jewel Painter on her special day. 4 generations of family members came to support her special day and her birthday meal of choice, tacos and Mexican pizza.
Of course. Well, before we end, Election Day is tomorrow, and Chancellor Kent Siveru just sent out an email encouraging everyone to go out and vote. The Student Association also just announced the campus reach party today. We just want to say, go out and vote. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Elijah Shama. Thank you. Have a great night, Syracuse.